until my well runs dry. Send all your sins all over me, baby, baby.
What's poppin', Tar J? It's me, Keisha, and I am here with this week's All Tea, All Shade Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 14, Episode 16 review. If you all have not checked out my Scottsdale, Arizona birthday vlog video, it is up now on my channel. Make sure you watch that. Okay, so the episode starts off with Marlo's nephews coming back home. She's preparing their room for them. She calls her sister and asks how has things been with the boys being at her house. And she was like, they still ain't taking their medicine. They still ain't, volunteering to wash dishes, even though, she has a husband in the house with her. So Marlo thought things would be a little different with them having a male counterpart in the home, but obviously that doesn't seem to be working. I don't know what the hell they over there doing, because child, you wouldn't be acting like that over here. I don't know if they going soft on them because of what the situation is with their mom, but nah, y'all got to get the fuck up. So the boys are going to be coming home in the next few days, and Marlo is excited because she misses them. Then we see Drew. She's at home. She has had surgery on her foot. And Shereé stops by to see her and check on her. And, Drew was like, I like you. I hate the way we started off. And they would both agreed that they didn't get the chance to really know each other and how things went left, but how they want to work on their, friendship. And then Sonya arrives to visit her. And Drew is like, I'm in the twilight zone. Two people that I don't even fucking get along with are the first two people to come see me after surgery. So Drew asks, what did she miss on the trip since she wasn't able to participate in anything? And they tell her about Sonya and Kenya's argument at the dinner table. And Sonya was like, in my head, I be thinking I'm winning the arguments, but the words don't be coming out. And so Shereé then decides to tell her that when her and Kenya spoke one-on-one, that Kenya was saying she felt as though Ross was being aggressive towards them when he got up and checked them about not saying nothing to his wife. So of course Sonya then decides to pick up the phone and call Kenya. Now I don't know what time of the night it was when she called, but Kenya was knocked out of sleep. And she was like, is anything wrong? Like, what's going on? And she was like, I was calling because, Shereé told me what you said about Ross and calling him aggressive. And, when you call a black person aggressive, that has a negative connotation coming to it. But at the same time, aggressive is still a word, people. You can still use that word, okay? It's not all about the aggressive black woman or aggressive black male when that word is being used. So Kenya was like, huh? Like, I don't even remember saying that. I don't even use that word for real. She was like, I need to wake up, first of all. And Sonya was like, I really took offense to that. I didn't like that. And she was like, okay, Sonya. Okay, girl. All right. Okay. And so they end up getting off the phone, and Sonya hang up the phone, was like, bye, bitch. Now, I don't know if Kenya heard her call her a bitch, but baby, I can't wait for this damn reunion. Because this reunion is going to be hilarious to me. Now, I personally felt like, I don't feel like he was being aggressive or anything. Now, they could have cut out a lot of shit that we didn't see. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what else was said. But remember that, who was it that said, Candy said on her speak on it that Ross was not only upset about Kenya and Sonya going back and forth, but he was also upset with production that night because of some shit that was going on behind the scenes. So he already was in a bad mood. So maybe that had something to do with it as well for her to call him aggressive. But at the end of the day, from what we saw on television, it didn't come across as aggressive. But who's to say what happened behind the scenes? I, however, still stand firm on this is what the women do. Nobody was calling your wife out her name. You know what I'm saying? This is what your wife signed up for. Do like the other men and sit back unless your name gets involved. Other than that, sir, have several fucking seats. So Shereé is having a model casting for her She by Shereé fashion show that is coming up. And she has decided to ask Kenya to come help her because she knows Kenya has been in the industry. She knows what she's talking about. And she has her business partner. I don't know who this lady named Rowan doing the fashion show for her, and she lets her know before Kenya get there that she can be shady. So Kenya arrives, that she speaks to Rowan or whatever, and I just noticed that Shereé got a whole stomach tattoo. I was like, okay, girl, living on the wild side. All right. So King was like, to Rowan, why won't you, tell Shereé to let people know that she's having a casting call, so I could have put it out there and we could have had a line around the corner. And she was like, well, we wanted to keep it on the low because that was Shereé's request. And Kenya is like, well, how you gonna get good models or get a variety of people if you trying to keep it on the low? That makes absolutely no sense. And I'm with Kenya, like, what? Like, why would you be trying to keep it on the low? I guess in case this shit don't kick off and the shit don't go right, a lot of people won't know that you failed once again, because I'm not really understanding it. And so then they're sitting on the couch sideways, and King was like, well, can we at least sit in front of them while they're walking? And the lady Rowan was like, well, this is how I like to do it when I do mine. That's not the correct way, love. I've never seen casting sit on the side. You always sit in front so you can see a good view of the person when they're walking and when they're walking away. So everything that Kenya was saying was absolutely correct. And Rowan, your ass don't know what the fuck you talking about. Where you find this lady at, Shereé? And so at this point, Rowan and Kenya going back and forth, and Shereé talking about some Kenya, stop, Kenya. But no, Kenya is telling the fucking truth. You should have hired her ass. So, I think Kenya ended up saying something about some real models. And Rowan was like, well, you have to have a $1 million budget for some real models. Or you got to have a budget for some real models. And Shereé was like, well, what budget do you need to get some real models? She was like, you're going to need some money for that. And so Kenya was like, well, why don't you do it? It's not too late. And Shereé was like, it is too late. I done already spent $1 million on trying to get these clothes over here. And in her confessional, Kenya Thomas, $1 million. If you didn't put $1 million into this shit, the clothes would be here by now. And then she was like, oh, please don't put that in there, because Shereé gonna think I'm talking about her. But that's some real true tea. Girl, you ain't spent $1 million on shit. God damn it, Shereé, shut up. Please stop lying. Please stop lying to yourself, honey, because nobody else is with you on the lies. Ralph, Drew, and her mom are at Ralph's book cover photo shoot. His book is halfway completed. I must say I really liked his blue suit that he was taking the cover photo in. Really didn't care for the second one. But Drew and her mom sit down and talk, and she asks Drew, like, has she read any of the book? Drew hasn't read anything else other than what she heard when they were out of town or whatever they was at. But she says that, she does feel happy that he is including her in writing the foreword. So I guess now she's going to write it. I don't understand, once again, how you writing a foreword for a book that you have not fucking read that involves your son. But okay, sis, go off. I think this is a bunch of bullshit. I think that this is a storyline for them. I don't bit more believe that Drew would be dumb enough to write a foreword for a book that she has not read that involves herself and her son and their family. Make it make sense. Nobody could be that fucking stupid. I refuse to believe it. So the topic of him adopting Josiah comes up. And because her mom now knows that he's backed off from doing that. And he tells her the story about how he talked to Josiah's biological father, and, he's going to respect his wishes. And so Drew was like, okay, well, what if Josiah asks later? And he was like, if Josiah comes to me later and says that's what he wants, I would do that for him, but for right now, no. I guess, child, it ain't my child, so it is what it is at this point. So, Drew then goes on to tell them that her and Shereé are planning a joint birthday party for Marlo and Kenya. It's a belated party because their birthdays are near each other, but nobody knows, because they know if they tell anybody that it's going to get back to the girls and they won't come. So they're going to act like they're coming over to Drew's house to support her in order to get everybody there. And I'm like, this is about to be a whole shit show. Yes, ma'am, it is. So we go over to Marlo's house, and the boys are back at home, and she asks them, how does it feel to be back home? And the oldest one was like, it don't feel the same. And she was like, why not? And he was like, I mean, because, I get to sleep in my own bed. I get to take a hot shower in a clean bathroom. So basically, low key, he was calling her sister house nasty. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this boy just said that on national TV. Oh my God, I bet she won't let their ass come back over there no more. I wouldn't, you little bad motherfucker, gonna call my house dirty. It's the day of the joint birthday party, and Drew has a backdrop put up, bunch of balloons that she outsourced. And Shereé comes. Mind you, Shereé hasn't really helped with anything because she says she's been super busy trying to get everything ready for the She by Shereé fashion show, which is in 9 days at this point, and she's just been swamped with work. So Drew was like, you gonna have to give me half, and I got the invoice for everything. And she was like, girl, this is too much money for me, because who said we was gonna do all this? Now, mind you, the shit literally costs about like what, $1,300 or some shit like that. Let me go back and look. Yeah, $1,350. And she talking about that's too much money. Girl, just because you put up that Party City shit. No, I'm sorry. Just because what's her name? Sonya put up that Party City shit for your birthday and was being hella cheap, and then you didn't even like that shit. Don't mean y'all gotta be cheap for somebody else. $1,300 between y'all ain't shit. Stop being fucking cheap, Shereé. And she literally was making a fuss out of paying that money. Like, but you got millions to be spending on fashions, but you ain't got $1,350 to split between two people. Okay, girl, get out of here. What was the point of you offering to do it if you was gonna do it in a cheap ass way? What was y'all gonna do, get sushi from the market, from the grocery store? What the fuck, girl? Sit down somewhere. So she then gets a phone call from one of her people saying that the person that they outsourced to help with the designs in LA, the shit don't look right. Then the first person that Shereé was working with, the shit is lost somewhere in Alaska. So the shit is just a mess at this point. Now I see why she wanted to have a low-key casting, because the way things was looking, it looked like it was about to be a whole shit show like it was season 1, child. So all the girls and stuff start arriving. Kenya cousin gets there, Marlo's friends, and then Kenya and Marlo pull up at the same time. And Kenya, ignorant ass, get to the door first. And instead of holding the door open for Marlo, her ass gonna close the door behind her. Kenya's so fucking stupid, but that shit is funny as hell to me, and I probably would have did the same damn thing. I must say that I loved Marlo's Givenchy 2-piece hot pink set. It was so stinking cute. I would love to wear that. It was gorgeous. So everybody sits down to eat dinner, and Marlo and Kenya are sitting opposite each other, and Drew makes a speech about how we do not want y'all to fight no more. We want y'all to get along. And Kenya in her confession was like, is this a birthday party or intervention? Because I didn't sign up for that. And I agree. If this is supposed to be a celebration, we're not going to bring up the old shit. Y'all could have did something separate if that was the case. Don't nobody feel like all that. So Kenya cousin asked, at one point y'all got along, like, how do you feel like y'all can make this work? And Kenya was like, at first I didn't have an issue with Marlo. They then show a flashback to when they first was good Judies back in the day. She was like, but it comes to a point when a person shows you who they are, you have to believe them. And she's said and done some really fucked up things to me. And she brings up, the thing that Marlo said about her mama. And Marlo was like, we can't go back 6 years. And she was like, no, because what happened 6 years got us to where we are now, because you constantly call me a liar. And then Marlo was like, but you've cut me deep as well. They then flash back to all the horrible things that Kenya has said to Marlo or whatever in the past. And basically they really get nowhere. They're still at a stalemate. They still don't fuck with each other. And I still stand firm that Marlo was the one that started all this. She's the one that turned on Kenya all those years ago, because Nene came back to the show, and her and Nene became back friends again, and she said fuck Kenya because it was fuck Kenya for Nene. So girl, ain't nobody got time for that. So then Drew decides they're gonna play a below the belt game. If you think it's below the belt, you gotta say it's below the belt. And she says, how would you feel if someone called your husband aggressive? And they got that shit from Kenya calling Ross aggressive. And so Sonya stands up and was like, I respond, bitch, you wish you woulda, bitch, you wish you did. And she done broke this girl. Oh, I can't even get the joke out. Sonya then broke literally Drew's Ross chair, the store Ross, child. I'm like, girl, you done broke this lady chair that she done got from Ross. I was like, now that's an invoice, bitch, that you need to be given. So then Shereé gives everybody that she knew that was going to be there invites to her fashion show. They're really cute invites. They're in these little plexiglass boxes with Barbie doll clothes on the inside with the invite. And everybody like, girl, how you can afford to do these fancy ass invites, but yet and still you ain't got no fashions. Make it make sense. Like, this don't even make sense. So everybody's pretty much laughing at her at this point because it's about to be another fashion show without no fashions. And Kenya was like, then I went to her casting call. That was a mess. Child, I would have been embarrassed. I would have left. So then Kenya mentions how Shereé says she spent $1 million on this fashion show. And all of a sudden, Shereé got amnesia. I'm going to say amnesia. Shereé gets amnesia. Thomas said, I never said that. Girl, that just goes to show how much of a liar your ass is. And Kenya was like, I know what you said, girl. You said $1 million. So I was like, can you hear it wrong? I ain't never said no $1 million. Girl, with your lying ass. That's why you and Lytel over there together. So at the end of the episode, we then see Shereé meet up with Apollo, honey. Apollo Nida, honey. Back at it again. And Apollo looked good. You know, he still looks nice, still a handsome dude, still buff. I did not like that skeet ass baby shirt he had on. Like, who onesie did this nigga have on? I didn't like the cutout at the neck. That literally like a newborn's outfit that he came home in the hospital in. But Shereé asked him to be in her fashion show and he agrees to do it or whatever. I actually would love to see Apollo back on the show with his new wife. I think that adds some old nostalgia to the shit. Bring Apollo back on this motherfucker. Bring him back with his bitch. Bring back some other oldies but goodies on this show. Bring back Lisa Wu. Bring back Shamari. Bring back Eva. Bring back Claudia Jordan. This is what we need on the show, people. Put me over there and cast it, because whoever over there and casting is fucking the whole thing up. So she asked him how he been since he been out of jail the last 2 years, and he was like, he doing good. He was like, Phaedra basically left him for dead. Left him to die when he went to jail. She wouldn't let him see the kids. She, didn't come to none of his court stuff. Wasn't there when he, went to jail or nothing. But, he say he good now. I hope, that he has a, really good situation with the boys and that they're able to co-parent with each other now. And so he asks her, how everything going with her and Tyrone. And she tells him, how they was dating. And he was like, yeah, I ran into him while I was locked up. And she was like, yeah, he told me. He was like, he told me y'all was dating. And he was like, I kind of brushed it off. I thought the nigga was lying pretty much. And she was like, nah, I really kind of fell in love with this man. And she told him what happened, how he stood her up. And he was like, to be honest with you, I saw that shit all the time in jail. How dudes that had one chick come to see them one day, the next day it's a whole nother chick. And he telling every last one of them that he love them. Like, that's just what niggas do when they get in jail. Like, they just sell your ass a dream. So Shereé was like, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. She was like, we didn't talk after that for like 2 months. I called him. It was a brief conversation. He act like did nothing happen. And she was like, and now he been calling me every day or whatever. And so I'm like, child, girl, that nigga don't want shit but to come back to see if he can ruin your life some more, child. But that was the end of the episode, you guys. I felt like this episode was cute. It was cute for what it was. I give this episode a B-. Next week is the season finale episode, and then we'll get to this reunion. Let me know what y'all thought about tonight's episode down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button, you guys. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.